someone who has passed away. And it seems like a crazy idea to think of spending a joyous day talking about someone who's passed away, but there was not a more joyous person, and a person who would appreciate being celebrated rather than mourned, than Joyce Melissa Chapman. Did you know her first name was Joyce?
Nope.
Very few people did. So, of course, we know her as Melissa. And Melissa lived here in this neighborhood, and she was a friend to so many wonderful. She was a wonderful person who was friends to us. I said we were wonderful people, but I don't know. She probably picked wonderful people. I mean, maybe that's what that was, you know. She picked wonderful people to hang out with. And so maybe if we looked at each other, we can see that our commonness is that for some reason, Melissa loved each one of us. I think that makes each one of us very special. And I kind of like that, because when I look around, I see a lot of really beautiful, special people here. Thank y'all all for coming. Let's see. I want to start off by saying thank you to Susan Rue. This is Susan's home and her studio. I don't know if you've gotten the chance to meet Susan. Am I seeing her? Oh, she's probably doing something. She's missing her thank you, but I'm going to come back and I'm going to thank her again. If you look around, Susan made that amazing banner, which was an advertisement, and it hung on the art museum downtown, and it happened to have Melissa. I don't think it just happened to have Melissa. So Susan managed to get Melissa in this big banner, and the costumes that you see over there are all costumes that Melissa and I created together. I mostly made them for her, but she wore them in great style. And if you look around with all the pictures, Susan Rue did all this. Susan, we love you. Thank you so much for hosting this. I just want to tell you briefly about my introduction to Melissa. So also over there, you'll find a picture of Annabelle, which was Melissa's dog, who was an Italian greyhound, was a prissy little thing. And my dog Bijou, who was a Bichon Frise, she was also a very judgy, prissy little thing. And these two dogs happened to like each other. They didn't like any other dogs, and they didn't like any other people besides Melissa and I. And I met Melissa walking Annabelle, and I would walk Bijou with her, and the two of us with these strange creatures it was just an odd, weird thing, and we became instant friends, and we learned as much as we possibly could about each other, and I love that girl. I loved her a lot, and I continue to love her, but I'm gonna let this begin with a blessing. In our midst is a shaman. Her name is Desiree Demars, and Melissa loved Desiree. And Melissa and Desiree shared amazing sessions together, and they had a mystical connection, I think would be a good way to describe it. So Desiree, would you like to come and start our service off with a blessing?
Oh, darn, I didn't know you were Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry, I should have given you a little more warning.
Okay. I can't prepare, but what I want to do is I'm going to pass this around. It's a bag of an offering, so I just invite each one of you.
Wait, so,
yeah. Okay, I brought some tobacco, cornmeal, and other little sacred plant medicines that I just invite everybody to take a little pinch and just hold it, and whenever you're ready, or we could do it together, but just make an offering, because we're just going to bless the land, and of course we have some sparkles in there too for Melissa. So, yeah, I'll just take a pinch and pass it on. Yeah. And so, yeah, as that's going around, I'm just going to invite everybody to close your eyes for a moment and just get in touch with your body. Just let's get grounded in our bodies for a moment and just imagine this divine white light coming down from the heavens and anchoring us into the earth, into the center of the earth, and feel that connection that you have to the earth, to Pachamama, to Gaia, or the mother of us all. And then as you just feel that connection grow, it just naturally expands upward, and feel all of your chakras opening: red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet, and back up to white. And feel that energy flowing within you, flowing up like a fountain and flowing out over. And then just in honor of our sweet sister, our star sister, Melissa, I just invite you to imagine a golden pyramid above your head and feel that energy from the pyramid, the golden light flowing through you, that knowing that she's there lighting the way for us who will follow. I'm just going to rattle a little bit, and I'm going to call in the directions and the elements. So we call in all of the directions: the east, the south, the west, the north, above, below, and the middle. We call upon all of the elementals: the earth, the air, the fire, the water, the ether, the plasma, and the neutrinos, and all those elements yet unknown to man. Come and be with us as we sit, creating this sacred circle on behalf of Melissa today. Come and be with us. Come and be with us, all of our guides, angels, teachers, guardians, the visible and the invisible, the magical and the mystical. Come and be with us, the two-legged, the four-legged, the many-legged, the winged ones, the finned ones, and the creepy crawlers. Come and be with us as we sit, creating the sacred and divine circle on behalf of Melissa, opening that connection across the veil so that we feel our hearts connected with her today. Come and be with us, all of our ancestors, those who've gone before us, lived a good life and transcended, and are now here working on our behalf. Come and be with us, all of those whose names we do not know, but whose blood runs through our veins. Come and be with us. Let us experience the joy, the journey that our sweet star sister is now undertaking, and shining her light upon us as we carry on. So, with your offering, just if you'd like, you can blow into it, just hold it. Say a prayer, a wish for Melissa, say a blessing with our hearts open in gratitude and appreciation for this beautiful sacred space, to have this ceremony, and then just release it to the earth, release it to the wind. And just knowing that all the blessings that we receive today, any magic or any messages that you might receive from Melissa or about Melissa, just hold that in your heart, knowing that you too are receiving the blessing, and that all those we come in contact with will feel that love, that effervescence, and that light. Aho.
That was so great. Thank you. Thank you so much. Um, if you're wondering, for some of you, you've never been to this neighborhood before, or you just don't know about this neighborhood, we have a longtime resident here and a very good friend of Melissa's. This is Linda Lou Jones, and she's going to tell you a little bit about her story.
I bought in this neighborhood what we lovingly call the hood. I'm sure many of you have heard it. Been here since I bought in 2000. Came and went because I was still working in Florida. Met Melissa when she moved here. Of course, we had dogs. Annabelle, I had Tigger at the time, Bijou. We all became very good friends. And we had a tight group of women here that we had fun with, we danced with, we had parties. It was just really neat hood. We would be singing out in the middle of the road at night, and people that were renting that cabin would like, woo, witchy woman. Remember that? They wondered what the devil was going on. But Melissa was a kind, loving, wonderful, creative, all-around good person. And I'm sure you wouldn't be here if you didn't think that. That's why we're all here today. This hood, I guess, started in the early 30s. My little cabin was built in 31. It was a resort-type area for people from, a lot of people from Florida would come up here. Ms. Ruth would clean the cabins for them, winterize them. Ms. Ruth died a few years ago, and I don't know, a bunch of us always considered her the matriarch of Homeland Park, which was once called Hillbilly Heaven. The chiropractor's office over there was a big restaurant on Tunnel Road. There was a lake back here. They had horse riding. It was amazing. And then it was eventually sectioned off into private ownership. And that's how we all came together. And we all loved it. Still do. When Miss Ruth passed away, we sort of considered her the matriarch of Homeland Park. And then I kept thinking, okay, Melissa's the matriarch now.
She's the queen.
She's a queen, matriarch of Homeland Park, but I never got to tell her that. But she would have loved it. Miss her greatly.
I'm going to try my best. Thank you, Linda. Linda and Melissa were very good friends. If you didn't know that, they were very, very good friends. So I have a message that Mary
Castillo
would like me to read to you. Ooh, it smells. Okay, so, thank you. Oh, so Mary, say it again.
Castillo.
Owns several cabins in this neighborhood and has been here for, I don't know Mary's story. If anybody wants to share.
She's been here since about 2003, 2004. She owned one of the houses in the neighborhood.
Right.
The one at the end of Spruce, I think.
I think she owns
Well, she owns others, but she used to live in the neighborhood.
Oh. Okay. So this is from Mary. Sweet Melissa. She was a kind and generous light body that will be missed by all who knew and loved her. She was a beautiful mix of whimsy, wisdom, and strength, and an open-hearted acceptance of every person she encountered. Melissa and her beautiful daughter Celeste is here, and their fur baby Annabelle rolled into Homeland Park in 2007 seeking a place to live, and it was our good fortune that Hootie's Roost cabin was where they chose to land. You know which one, Hootie's? He'll point to it. Chris arrived shortly afterwards with a van full of belongings and a tender heart, and they settled right in, and Melissa was spotted daily through the neighborhood, walking Annabelle, adorned in outfits from her eclectic wardrobe of fur-lined jackets and fancy canine attire. That was very true. It was the beginning of a sweet friendship, and before long became a rocking business collaboration with vacation rentals. We worked together for almost 10 years, and in the 3 Asheville cozy log cabins we stocked and booked, soon Celeste and then Clay became vital partners in the endeavor. Melissa was often the friendly face and lovely presence that greeted guests when they arrived at the cabin. Many glowing reviews were written about her kindness and her willingness to offer assistance whenever needed. That assistance could have been anything from pointing them to a good restaurant, unscrambling the TV remote, or loaning them her jumper cables for a dead car battery. A couple of them were lucky enough to even score an invitation to one of her backyard parties. Epic. Melissa literally saved a woman's life when she found her unconscious in severe respiratory distress in one of the cabins one night and quickly called the EMTs that took her to Mission Hospital. That woman now lives in Woodfin and to this day refers to Melissa as her guardian angel. Often, if we were working together at the cabin, we'd take a break and sit outside, and Melissa would always bring an extra cigarette to share with everybody who knows Melissa. Shared with me, and we'd sit on the porch and smoke and laugh, and no matter what kind of troubles either of us were dealing with at the time, we always managed to find humor together in every situation. What a treasured memory. I quickly developed a deep appreciation for Melissa's bright smile, generosity, and compassion for others. She and another kind woman who Mary doesn't say, but it's Becky. She and Becky transported a very troubled elder neighbor that lived in the hood to doctor's appointments and worked together to ensure that she had adequate clothing and many of her basic needs were met. And that was Betsy, who lived right next door to me, that she's referring to. We love Betsy! It was always a delight to discover whatever creative, colorful, and fabulous costume Melissa and Clay would assemble to wear to Mardi Gras or any other event that offered opportunity to display their plumage, and you can see some of those over there. Sue and I were delighted when it became obvious that Clay and Melissa were a couple and happy that they seemed to enjoy each other so much. So yes, it was our great good fortune to have Melissa as either a parent, a friend, or a loving partner. Let's all celebrate her life and enjoy a great big heart smile as we remember her wonderful presence among us. Rest in peace, sweet friend. You will be missed. And that's from Mary. Yeah. Okay, Clay? You ready? Okay, while Clay's walking slow, I'm going to tell you guys a story that Melissa. Okay, so Clay approached Melissa at a Halloween party that Melissa and I were at, and I was like, "Who is this guy?" But I have since grown to love him and appreciate how much he loved my friend.
All right, this will be brief and off the top of my head.
Please.
Excuse me?
Closer to the mic.
Closer? Okay. I have a tiara.
Get the tiara.
No, I don't have a prepared presentation. I'm just, we're all here for the same reason. I'm still in shock. I want you to know that, I did come home that evening, her last evening here, and she was not feeling well, so I determined we needed to get some help. And she was conscious and spoke, consciously, but And they took her to the hospital, and they said they couldn't save her. So it was beyond anyone's abilities that it was her time. Sheila stole my opening line and saying that Sheila's the one who brought Melissa and I together, because it was the evening of Halloween, and I happened to be downtown for an art event, and Sheila encouraged Melissa to come to the event as well, which was sold out. So they wound up at the Oliver Twist, and I went across the street to check in the Oliver Twist, check what kind of hot chicks might be in there, you know. And I saw Melissa at a table by herself with a witch's hat on. She wasn't there alone. Sheila and everyone else was out dancing, but Sheila didn't have a date, so Melissa didn't have a date. Yeah. But I had recognized Melissa from 3 years earlier. I'd seen her for 2 minutes at a Mardi Gras Cajun Cook-Off fundraiser. So thanks to the Asheville Mardi Gras organization, of which I became a treasurer thereafter, and got to meet a lot of just crazy, wild and crazy, wonderful people. So I approached Melissa that evening at the table and said, "It's been a while." I said, "When am I going to see you?" I had to leave. My daughter was with me. She had a dog. I said, "When am I going to see you again?" She said, "You'll see me around." I said, "It's been 3 years. I think. Can you give me your phone number?" He said, "Oh, I'll give you my phone number." So that was that. And then we had our first date at Pomodoro's. And when I drove home, I was like, that woman is so delightful. And apparently she was smitten with me too for some reason. But so it's been a real storybook. It's been like, what do they call it, puppy love? Yeah, and high school romance all over again. It was just blissful 6 years. We just marveled together on the mystery and the magical nature of everything, and you know, we're humans and we have stuff stored up here, so like I would start unloading stuff, like I'd make comparisons about this is happening then, and then at the same time this was happening over there, historical stuff, you know, like what happened in 1903, okay? But it was significant. But she'd look at me and say, "When you start talking like that, I'm just like, She says, "I just think in terms of colors." Does that kind of explain it? Well, I think in terms of lyrics from popular music, particularly Rolling Stones and the Beatles and Canned Heat. Okay, so, and various. So, you know, the Stones are the bad boys of rock and roll, right? So, well, one album and they generally follow the Beatles albums with kind of a counter album, okay? Like, let's see. Well, right now it escapes me, but anyway, the Beatles came out with an album when the psychedelic thing was coming out. It was the Magical Mystery Tour. Well, the Beatles came out with a corresponding one.
Her Satanic Majesty's Request.
Satanic Majesty's Request. And I think it was on that album where the song that I'm now referring to that describes Melissa in one aspect. She's a rainbow. And there's a cute video, if you ever want to look it up. It's a graphic video. I mean, it's just cartoons of colors, and she's a rainbow, and it's really sweet. Okay.
Okay.
And then that evening at Oliver Twist, when I encountered her again, I didn't want to let her go. I guess I was inspired and had the strength from a song from South Pacific, some enchanted evening.
Are you
When
going
you-
to sing it for us now?
I love you all so much, I'm gonna spare you that. Yeah, right. So, well, when you meet your true love, never let her go, right? So. And then we would wake up in the morning. Either I'd bring coffee to bed, or she'd maybe bring coffee to bed, and we'd prop that pillows back there, and she'd have her big, glamorous sunglasses on, and we just mesmerized about this and that. And I told her on one occasion that from The Music Man. Of course, it wasn't. It was written by, I looked up earlier. But, I got it. It's coming. Man.
Hum a few bars.
Meredith Wilson?
Until there was you.
Oh, until there was you.
Until there was you.
Oh, that Beatles.
Yeah. Everything was, well,
Black and white.
everything's black and white. So again, going back to colors, everything was black and white or gray until now that you've come along, everything's colors, and she's just. So she, as you know, never touched the ground. She just glided through wherever. And I feel like my feet never touched the ground whenever I was with her. So each moment, every time I was with her, I was just same elation, and so that's a small perspective of my experience with her, and it's going to carry me a long time, and I think it's going to carry you a long time with y'all as well. Same reasons. So, and all right. Thank you all. Love.
Thank you, Clay.
Thank you, Clay.
I've been waiting to hear that story.
Okay.
Thank you, Clay. Yeah, I like him. Oh. Is this better? Oh, nope. Okay. I wanted to mention something about those costumes over there. The reason that Melissa and I were so into, one of the reasons Melissa was so into Mardi Gras was when I was the Mardi Gras queen, she was my lady in waiting. That's how all the costuming got started, or I think even before that. But if you'll see, there's her witch's dress. Bruja-Con, thank you. And my friend Dominique the other day was clearing out some stuff, and she found a purse that belonged to her mother, who is Maria Mulcherry, who was another goddess that lived in this neighborhood and isn't with us anymore, but I feel her very strongly too. And she and Melissa were very good friends as well. And Dominique gave me this great purse, and I'm telling you, the minute I got it home, I hung it on a coat rack, and every time I see it, I think it's Melissa walking away, because it really looks like Melissa's hair. And I just wanted to share that with you guys. All right, so we have Rose DeStefano, who is one of our goddesses that lives in the neighborhood too, and Rose is going to tell us a story.
Okay, today after...
Wait, you talk to the microphone.
Well, I was going to say I might not have the whole story of Clay and Melissa because I didn't get the beginning exactly. I thought you met at the Mardi Gras first.
Well, Mardi Gras brought them together, for sure.
Yeah, okay. So I told Clay I would write him their love story, and I would give it to him on the day I came here. The story begins with imagination, a transformation from everyday clothes to gowns and suits fits for kings and queens. Old chassis carry new bodies created and trimmed in a kaleidoscope of shapes and colors. Mardi Gras, the feast before the fast, in a small mountain city 700 miles from New Orleans. Clay sees someone who catches his eye with her quiet, joyful smile. He is drawn to her spontaneous touch on the moment. The name Melissa flows. He wants to get to know her, while her friendliness has a careful hesitation. During the coming weeks, they meet again and dance. She sees something in him. While the sun men burn too intensely, the moon men are cold and distant. He's more of a galaxy, the center of which holds old stars, while the disk is constantly forming new ones. She likes this. He just may be the one. She makes room in her mind for his thoughts, and he sweeps out his heart for her love. They begin to share little things, a laugh, a walk, dessert. Then big things, family, friends, concerns. Slowly they open doors kept locked with hidden keys. While young love is often stifled by expectations, pride, and ego, old love is patient and wise to the aches of the bones and the heart. At last, one hand taps the hammer while the other steadies the nail. If he sees the picture as hideous, he compliments the mat and frame, and while he has abandoned the hammer for 2 weeks on the dresser, she quietly puts it away. In the safe harbor of the cabins, Melissa and Clay planted seeds. By late spring, a garden popped with tall leafy stalks and summer flowers. In the early morning, the garden was heavy with dew and drinking in the sugars of the sun. Late at night, with the bees and butterflies retired, the flowers seemed to whisper behind their curtain of darkness. A sign proclaiming love is the answer fronted the cabin. I asked myself, why love? Why chance heartache or open ourselves to weakness or loss? What about the unloving, the enemy, our conquerors? But Melissa believed, and so I thought it must be so. The story of love is the story of the planet Earth, written during moments of great joy and drawn with the ink of our hardest tears. It is passed down with time and kept close to our souls, page after dog-eared page. This is not the end of Melissa and Clay's story. A poet by the name of Mary Tall Mountain once asked her grandmother the Athabascan word for goodbye. Ah, nothing, she said. We just say, Tayeye, see you. We never leave each other. We always think we're coming back, but if you don't, we'll see you someplace else. You understand? There is no word for goodbye.
Be a special day, right? It's the first day of spring, but it's a lot of other things too. And so Terry's going to share with you a little bit about that. And then afterwards, we're going to open up. You'll see how it progresses. But then after that, if anybody would like to share from the crowd, you're very welcome to do so. So first, we're going to hear from Terry. Sorry, Terry Holcomb, very good friend of Melissa's.
There was a lot of dynamic in the hood here, and if anybody was getting rid of anything, they always gave it to Melissa first. And Melissa then would take what she wanted, and then she would say, come over, I have all this stuff. Well, this one day, I go over, and I said, what are you doing with this fake ficus tree? And she said, oh, Becky gave it to me. I'm going to give it to Cindy. Well, the story with Cindy is she moved into this house, and a woman had died before she moved in, and this woman was trying to talk to her. So every time she would do something, she'd find ficus leaves. So somebody glued some big fat plastic slugs to it and put it on Cindy's table, porch. And then I go on vacation and I come home and I'm in my backyard and I'm like, something feels really strange. And I look over and there is that ficus tree. Somebody has planted it and put a little fence around it. So I enjoyed it for a couple weeks, and then I dug it up, put it out on the street, and the next morning, Becky's walking her dog, and she's holding the tree and taking it back to her house. We had so much fun here. Every single full moon, we celebrated always with a fire pit. Melissa always told us the story of the particular moon for that month. And we just celebrated her 75th birthday, or her 900th moon. And I lived down in Lake Junaluska, and we went, it was full moon, and there were a few of her special friends, and we went down and were walking into the labyrinth, and we got to the center of the labyrinth. We were blowing bubbles, of course, and we were howling, just howling at the moon. And the reason that we kind of picked this date is, of course, I was devastated the day I found out that she was no longer with us. I couldn't imagine my life without her. But the next morning I woke up and I just was so happy. And Melissa said to me, "You are going to love it here." So I got my calendar and I started looking about it for a date for us to celebrate. And St. Patrick's Day was coming. It was going to be full moon. It was Pi Day, as in Stephen Hawking, and the first day of spring. Oh, and daylight savings time. So here you are, Melissa. Here we are. You got it, girl. We will love you forever and carry you in our hearts. There you go.
That sound is not uncommon in this neighborhood for you who don't live here. That is something you would hear. And I don't know if everybody really got a good howl in. I think we should try it again. This is, you put your glasses on.
We can't see.
Nope. So you go. Nope, wait.
I like that song.
Nope.
The band.
That's not it.
They're all
I'm
good.
gonna let you go work on it. Would anybody like to come up and share? Oh, great.
I'll get there.
Here.
Becky has to find it.
Hi, my name is Fred Morgan. I used to live in 42 Mimosa Circle. Moved in probably about the same time that Melissa did. She was one of my first friends here, and I should get closer.
You should.
Okay. And we had a lot of conversations as a result. I had a little dog, and she had a little dog, and we loved that. And actually, I was sort of a newbie in the spiritual arena, we'll say. Not that we're not all newbies if we're in the spiritual arena at all. But we would talk about that stuff sometimes. But what I really wanted to tell you about is something fairly simple. It's a dream I had. You know, I haven't lived in the neighborhood since about 2013. I've been back a couple of times. There was that big hole in the street that I had to deal with and stuff like that. And so since 2013, I probably saw Melissa half a dozen times or something like that. But as you know, she is a presence. And what surprised the daylights out of me, well, it was a dream, so I guess so. A couple of days after she passed, I had this dream. And I'm sure you've all had dreams something like this. There was this presence in the dream. And I can't describe it well, but it was something flowing, sort of, might call it a light silk sheet, or something diaphanous that's sort of flowing through the environment, and somehow, you know how this works in dreams, somehow I knew it was Melissa. And what was amazing about this, this diaphanous floating thing flowing through and past me, was it picked up a number of things that was you were speaking of in your blessing and that Clay was speaking of about colors. Because this diaphanous sheet was covered with lots and lots of colors. And it was Melissa. And I can't explain it beyond that, but it was clearly Melissa. Thought I'd share.
Love that. Would anybody? Tracy. So I don't know if you know, but this is Tracy, Melissa's daughter, and her husband Mark, and they came from Florida to be with us today, and we're so glad you came. Thank you very much. We all feel kind of lucky to have you here. Thank you. Would anybody else like to come up and talk? Hey, look, AJ's here. AJ, we love you, girl. I'm so happy you're here. Thank you. Dan, Tony, would either of you like to speak? Does Kim have her thing together?
Looks like they're working on it.
All right, hey everybody. So Tony and I bought here in '08. Yeah, and we lived in Charlotte. We'd come up on the weekends, and when we'd pull up, one of the first things we always did, we'd drive through the neighborhood and see, make sure it was like we had to make sure our people were home and where everybody was. And Melissa was always on that little tour. She was, I think, calling her the matriarch is quite correct. In fact, I shared with someone, we were coming here today, and I called her the soul of our community, because she really was that sweet, always smiling, such good energy. I loved her crazy-ass garden in the front yard. I think I stole some flowers there from time to time. Sorry. And we do miss her. We thought we had her coming up to Waynesville to live for a little while, but Clay's already yelled at me about that. But I'm going to end with kind of the neighborhood of the things that went around. It was like the recycling neighborhood where I think all of us, good Lord, I think a third of your house, and it started out in our house. It just kind of went one door down as we would remodel. We'd be like, hey, this is cool. Sheila would love this. Exactly. So I guess it was a couple years before we left, but it was towards the end. I was so excited we went to a yard sale in Melissa's yard. She had this little table out with all this stuff, crap stuff. And I found this really cool wooden bracelet with religious figures on it, and I'm not religious, so for me to want it, I just thought, oh, that's kind of cool, I want it. I think it was 25 cents. And I don't even know if I had a quarter on me. But anyway, I bought it or stole it or something, but I ended up at home with it. And Sheila pulls in the driveway, and I'm like, Sheila, hey, what's going on? Because we'd probably just come in that day, and I hadn't seen everybody. I said, look at this great bracelet I bought at Melissa's. She said, I bought that for her. So I am equally thankful that I ended up with it. So, I'm not amazed, but I'm amazed at the amount of people here. You know, I thought it would be the little neighborhood and, the 10 howlers. And it doesn't surprise me, but it's quite amazing all the souls and spirits and the energy that's in this place. So thank you all for being here.
None of us were ever offended if something we gave to someone got passed on to someone else. So. Okay. I want you to know that there is something written about Melissa's early time when she was a Navy wife. I don't know if you guys know this. Hey, does anybody know what Melissa's first concert was? James Brown. Yeah, she saw everyone. She saw a concert in Atlanta or somewhere in Georgia, and it was the repeat concert the weekend after Woodstock. Oh, wait, Clay wants to say
Tell us
something.
about that concert, Larry. In
Okay, wait. Okay, yeah.
Byron,
okay,
Georgia?
Just so you guys know, if you want to know more about Melissa's early life as a Navy wife, we have some printed stuff that's fascinating. So, and it's right up here. Okay. All right. You want to say it? Does he want to say it? Do you want Mark to come up?
I can, sure.
Okay, I just wanted to say really quick, these shoes have been all over the hood. I will never get them back because Melissa's
You can only have one.
She's off. You're offering. I'm sorry. You're up.
I'm splitting them with
Yeah. You're up.
No, I'm splitting them with you.
Let's see here. Oh, so Terry was just mentioning how Melissa's first concert. Oh, no, she was describing how Melissa's first concert was with James Brown and others. Our paths crossed many times before we even met. I used to play golf at Hilton Head in the late 70s and early 80s when Melissa was just getting started over here. It took us about 30 years to catch up to each other. And then a year after Woodstock, there was a similar concert in Byron, Georgia, south of Atlanta. And Melissa and her husband at the time, Chuck Fisher, the Navy pilot, they joined some other friends and drove up to Byron, Georgia to watch Jimi Hendrix and the same crew of people that were at Woodstock, basically.
Edgar Winter, Johnny Winter.
Now, how do you know?
Was he there?
This guy was there.
This guy was at the same concert as well.
I was there for part of it.
Yeah.
Once it became free.
So, all right. Okay. So what I want to do now is introduce Mark DiMarcantonio from New York City and now Williamsburg, Virginia, former Navy pilot, co-pilot with Chuck Fisher.
What? He was my co-pilot.
Okay. And so it's Al, but he goes by Mark. And he wrote,
So this is going to be a dual effort here between two people who thought an awful lot of Melissa. And I want to thank you all for filling in the parts of her life that I was not involved in. But there is a continuity in it, even in the life I'm about to tell you about. The photograph you see to the right is about how I knew Melissa.
Oh.
I took that picture.
Oh. Thank you for sharing.
You know. Okay, so here we go. Clay, don't go too far. So Melissa and I were best of friends and cosmic traveling companions from 1965 till forever. We came from contrasting places, backgrounds, and experiences, yet our solar bond was and is locked in destiny. Melissa understood the good, the bad, and the darkness of life, yet she was joyful and kept faith that all would be well. She was gentle, sensitive, and intuitive, and brought happiness to others and specialness to occasions. She was fun to be with and to talk with, always inviting you to a new experience and interior adventure. Melissa could illuminate the darkest hour and light up a room full of people with her flashing eyes, her winning smile, and her calmly exciting southern drawl. I miss that drawl and often replay it in my memory. I met her in Jacksonville, Florida, just before my deployment to the Mediterranean Sea aboard the USS Saratoga. She was stunningly magical, and that delightful memory remains with me. She was engaged to be married to Chuck, a squadron mate at the time. The ceremony took place in Douglas, Georgia, with a memorable aviation stunt by the groom himself and me that almost canceled the event. Melissa's lifelong friend and confidant, Joe Matthews Gomez, was the maid of honor and became my long-term friend and confidant on many occasions. was an impending backdrop to this event. Melissa, as I am, was a restless spirit in those days, and we guarded our independence warily. Yet there was a conflict within us because we also loved invincibly. Independence and love make for a challenging coexistence, so we spent 57 years rescuing one another from consequences of our interior civil wars and supporting one another as we learned how independence and love can coexist. We wrote and talked often and visited not often enough. We hoped that the other was still out there, as Melissa would say, living in our personal universes, seeking that illuminating experience that would satisfy our conflicting yearnings. We were both simultaneously delighted and disappointed when we would hear from one another of a new relationship in our lives. The fear was that our lifelong friendship would end. It didn't. It couldn't. We knew that this domain of existence held no answers to our questions, yet we carefully avoided the domain that we knew did. We became invested in this short existence because we wanted to think that the play would go on with endless performances. She wrote in one of her letters, "Thank you for being in my play through our final curtain call and beyond. For all that you have been to me, always, love, Melissa." Traveling through Europe while following to Saratoga, as she would visit the different ports, Melissa captured the hearts and raised the bar of life's surprises. From Barcelona through Palma de Mallorca, Marseille, Cannes, Rome, Naples, Genoa, Toronto, Athens, Rhodes, and Istanbul, she was fascinated with the various cultures and, you hear? Yeah, with the various cultures. And the Europeans were fascinated with her. Passers-by would turn to take a second look at the stunning, amazing woman of positive energy, who seemed to glide rather than walk. She was the Goldie Hawn of the USS Saratoga Air Wing and the Breezy Point Officers Club at the Naval Air Station in Norfolk. Pat and Melinda Cologne were and remain our constant friends, and we all enjoy the Navy experience afloat ashore. I got to know Melissa better during that Mediterranean cruise, and it was evident that she did not abide pretext or boasting. She valued authenticity. Yeah, let's just... Oh, okay. Yeah. Here, and then I'll take over in a little bit. We do this part.
Let's get the sun over. All right, we'll get the sun. No. So after our tour in the Navy, Melissa and Chuck lived in Statesville, Georgia, a college town. I visited them, and Melissa introduced me to some of her college friends. Although it was the 70s, it seemed like the 60s, with friends gathered at the cottage, sitting in a circle and passing a smoke around. What kind of smoke was that? Mindful that I didn't want junk air, liquid, or food in my body, and of my security clearance, I declined. Returning to the hospitality, though, I broke out a pack of Hope cigarettes that I bought at a bull ring in Mexico. I did the same thing when I was in the... They're called horseshit cigarettes. And passed them around. Okay. So Melissa watched, waiting for the gag line. The group commented positively about the smokes and asked where I got them. I passed around the Hope's pack of cigarettes, which read, "Bullshit cigarettes." Okay, well, there you go. Made him Heco in Mexico. One by one, the mellow assembly died out my wonderful smokes and just sat around looking at one another quizzically until they made their individual exits. I thought Melissa would throw me out next, but she was genuinely amused, as she expected any deadpan, off-the-wall antic from me. Unhappy in Statesboro, Melissa was feeling the need for speed in exiting herself. The Is this before or after she finished her educational?
Well, that's why I'm here. I don't know that.
No, Melissa did begin and finish undergraduate degree and graduate degree at University, Georgia Southern University in Statesboro, in interior design and other things, art. Well, let's see here. Well, she longed for the exciting lifestyle of a Navy officer family. Time and events passed, bringing changes in her life. Adventure calling, she visited me in New York City. She was relieved and comfortable amid the hustle, activities, and sights, especially like she made it to Greenwich. You took her to Greenwich Village? And Broadway Theater. She got around, all right. I knew I needed another 20 years with her to learn everything. She's like an onion with all these layers. And it was so much fat.
She told me she told you
about it. Let's see. Oh, they ate at Sardi's. Following dinner at Sardi's one evening, we took in a popular and controversial play called Hair, where the actors and actresses treated the audience to buck naked appearance. It was the 80s and it was billed as an avant-garde, artistic, or pleasantly gross. Melissa was hilariously delighted as some of the audience would applaud, some laughed, and some would boo, some yelled, "Put it on," or "Is that all?" Or "It's your mother and I'm ashamed of you," while others left the theater in a huff while turning for a final peek. All right. We spent our days visiting the Met and the Guggenheim, a Central Park carriage ride, the United Nations, Natural History Museum, my karate club at the Japan Society, music spots, dinner at my parents', restaurants, coffee at the Rockefeller Center, pizza in Little Italy, Fifth Avenue shopping, Times Square, people watching and freak show, historic sites, and essentially did the Big Apple. My daughter lives there now. Big Apple. Lower Manhattan. I go up occasionally. Everyone who met Melissa reacted to her as the celebrity persona that she exuded. New Yorkers, with our brashness, would meet her briefly and leave the conversation with a curious smile, looking back for another glimpse at this southern treasure of light, bliss, and ecstasy. You're a writer. You ever read Hemingway? Yeah, okay. Taking delivery of my 912, is that how you say it? 912 Porsche Targa that I bought in Germany while on shore the Eve, I saddled up and drove the country. I made a high-speed run to Georgia to visit Melissa. She was at the family farm, and I met her mother, stepdad, sister, and her dad, Colin. This was my southern coming out event. Colin gave us bamboo poles, and we went catfishing right straight away in a country stream. We caught and fried the catch along with some hush puppies. The fish preparation was messy, stripping off the skin, but the results were superb. We have photographs of this. The fish preparation was, let's see, the three of us went berry picking. I just read that berries are very good for you. Something about the heart or something like that. We went berry picking to make a pie, but I ate the ingredients before we got back to the farm. Melissa and I raced around the countryside, top down on... What top was down? Oh, car top was down.
Come on, play.
Top. And laughing out loud about our lives in Navy, New York City, and Douglas, Georgia. Stopping at a hen house, Melissa modeled for a mock photo shoot of an egg advertisement. Okay, good, yeah. She tried in vain to get that photo from me for years.
Never gave it to him.
I can't imagine what that means. He experienced a tobacco farm in the middle of nowhere. The aroma was great, but Melissa destroyed the ambience with a gentle reminder about rattlesnakes in the area. All right, so this is a New York City guy, getting a good experience down in southeast Georgia. Yeah. I grabbed some tobacco leaf to roll a fresh cigar, and off we went blazing a trail in reciprocating engine afterburner. All right. I think Mark enjoyed his visit down there. You made several visits down there, didn't you? Okay. I visited her in Hilton Head, and she managed to get a complimentary stay at a swank condo on the beach for me. I was living large until I fell asleep on the beach and got a severe sunburn that was blistering. Melissa was concerned and applied her salves and potions, and I got into an ice-cold bath and recovered the next day. Melissa shook her head, most likely thinking, Yankees can't take them anywhere. These few vignettes among many in travel log may seem like simple and unremarkable events, but they were wondrous and meaningful backdrops for the flourishing of a friendship in a most profound way. Melissa made them that way. All right, we have 2 more pages here. I'm just telling y'all. All right?
Can we read the rest of them there, or is there a final thing that you'd like to say?
Yeah. Is there a... Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Okay. The Navy social life, touring Europe, theater in New York, catfish dinners in Georgia, family and friends, all backdrop of memories lost to history, but found in the spiritual growth of 2 souls. I find myself calling Melissa's name, searching for yet another photo, and remembering that friendship is the highest form of love. I believe that destiny, our Creator, set us in this time and place to convince us of how foolish we are to prioritize worldly ambition over love, over friendship, and over divine destiny. And regardless of how difficult it may be to set our priorities aright, our God raises us to beyond what we can attain by ourselves. We have but to ask. I learned this through many hard lessons. Melissa always knew it. I recall a familiar quote that best describes Melissa's life as I knew it. Life is not measured by the breaths we take, but by moments that take our breath away. And this is how Melissa lived her life, as she deftly crafted those breathless moments for herself and for others. This was her lifelong celebration. And what is amazing blessing for me is that I got to share some of those breathless moments with her. Melissa is easy to love. Fair winds and following seas.
I can't wait to read it again.
How about singing? Would you guys like to sing? Mark Crow's going to sing something with me. We are going to sing with Mark Crow. I mean, Todd Crow.
It's all right.
Mark, sorry.
That's Mark. What's my new last name? I don't know. Hey. So everybody's been feeling a little sad and a little like, oh man, this is a bummer. And so I figure you all ready to pick it up a little bit? Try something a little different, right? I don't need this. I'm going to step away from this thing in a minute. So come on in. We're going to sing a song. You probably know it already. And if you want to sweep up my little child and take her away if she's pulling on my leg, I support that. Wait a minute. Am I the only one whistling?
Yeah.
Stop the music. Y'all ready to whistle? You can whistle. Come on. We're grown ups. Little kids can whistle. Everybody can whistle. You know this one. Come on. There you go. Come on, you got it. Here's a little song Bob wrote.
Come on.
I'd want to sing it note for note, but don't worry. I'll be happy. In this
life, expect some trouble. When you worry, you make it double. Don't worry, I'll be happy. Don't worry, be happy now. Come on, you can sing that. Don't worry, be happy now. I'm not worried. Be happy. Ain't got no cash, ain't got no style, ain't got no gal to make you smile, but don't worry, I'll be happy. Landlord say your rent is late, you got it? Landlord say your rent is late, oh, he may have to litigate, but don't worry,
Come on.
I'll be happy. Don't worry, be happy now. Don't worry, be happy. Don't worry, be happy now. Ain't got no cash, ain't got no style, ain't got no gal to make you smile, but don't worry, I'll be happy. When you worry, your face will frown, and oh, that will bring everybody down. So don't worry, I'll be happy now. Here we go now. Don't worry, be happy. Don't worry, be happy now. I'm not worried. Be happy now. Take a little Melissa moment, yeah? Picture that lady's dreamy little smiling face. Sorry about that. All right, here we go.
Yeah, man.
Thanks, everybody.
All right.
Did she find her music?
Was that so much fun?
Okay.
Desiree wants to tell you one more thing.
I just wanted to share with everybody that I guess I would call it a gift. I was really the last person beside Clay to see Melissa, and we went on one of our evening walks with the cats. And it was a beautiful spring day, so people were out and all the dogs were out and everybody was barking. And I don't have a big story, but I just want everyone to know that one of the last things I asked Melissa was just how she was
Who are these beautiful people?
going on in her life.
We're the beautiful people from west of here.
And what she told me was she was feeling incredible. She was so happy. She'd been going through some really deep internal work around her family and that. And and then of course, Steph starts like Clubhouse. So there was
Are you filming us?
There's no more film. Film is gone. We got to stop saying film. I'm chipping you.
I like film. Chip me, man.
It's going on the chip.
Chip me, man.
But it just worked out that way.
Well, yeah. Are we on camera? Does he have to have a camera on right now? Is the camera on? Moon pies.
Are we recording?
Moon pies.
Hey, Lala.
Moon pie.
I'm talking to my daughter right now. Lala, I'm not being recorded because there's no sound, right? Is there sound?
He's recording all of this right
Hey,
now.
Lala. Hey, Gussie. It's Pop Pop.
Hi, Laura.
Betty.
Your name again, Betty.
Betty. All right, thanks, Larry.
All
Thanks
right.
for everything. Thank you so much, Larry.
My pleasure.
All right.
I just feel like
You get that? Look at that. Look at that.
get in, find me, and
All right.
you wanted to know about it. And all my family, they have 28-year-olds. My girls.
So West Spring, of course, I've been here since the 97. I don't even remember when Melissa came. It was like she was always here. She came to me one spring and said, can I ask you a question? Sure. Can you tell me the difference between and flowers? And I said, well, okay, like, I don't know all the plants. I know some plants. But I'll come down, and it was her front bed next to the road. And, I kind of remember this little quote. I don't know where it came from, but, a weed is a flower that's grown where, you don't want it to be. So we go down, and we start.
Hi, what's your name? What's your name?
Aziza.
It is not.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. If you're sure.
So
Good enough for
she got
me.
a little bit of a grip, more than
What?
I thought. And with Melissa's magic, she not only grew one green thumb, but she grew two green thumbs. So you go by her house, she's growing these cosmos that are taller than the porch. And it was just such a gift for all of us. We all took seeds from her cosmos. So I think Melissa thinks of all of us as flowers or weeds that are bound to be flowers. And you know what? She really put a spring in all of our steps. And on the first day of spring, let's celebrate Melissa and never forget that she gave us our springs.
Kim's been trying to play a song for us, and the reason we picked this particular song was because I think it sounds like the perfect song to dance like Melissa. Now, I know you all know how to do it because we've all seen her do it, and it looks like this. Come on! Honey, will you come dance with me? Yeah, this is for Melissa and Clay. version of it instead of. I'm sure it's here. Can you find I don't think that's the right one. It was a nice thought.
Yeah, it was a nice thought. Thank you all for coming.
I don't think the song's going to happen. Thank you, everyone, for coming. We so appreciate it. That's okay.
Yay! Thank you.
Sorry? Miss Moon, Neil Young.
Yeah.
But we couldn't find the Becky word. We had word. Becky did, but then Becky said that was the one, and then we lost it. We can't find it.
Hi. Sonia, hi. Was that, is that your, is Betty your, oh, I thought you were Betty's granddaughter. But now, how do I know you? Oh, yeah. Yes.
All right.
You knew how special it was too.
I was telling a story. Call me over.
Hi, Andy. So nice to see you.
exact same mojo.